Good afternoon, students. In this demo I'm going to be showing you the basics on how to create really strange and irregular forms using perspective and blocks. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to take one form and in this demo spear through it with another. Now my goal isn't to make several different rectangles, just make one shape. But yeah, let's just get started. So what I've got here is a basic rectangular cube looking form, and what I want to do is I want to take a thin rectangle and spear it right through the middle so it's sticking out the other side. Well, first of all, in your mind you want to get an idea of exactly kind of where in the general region you want this other rectangle to spear through it. And what I want is to have kind of this area right through there. All you do is you draw the front of your next rectangle, and I'm going to draw it starting where it begins and then where it ends, coming out the other side. Okay, I've got my rectangle. Your first step is to decide where you're going to close off the actual area where it impacts the side of the cube. So there's a couple of things. If I wanted it to impact at the top of the cube, kind of like in a capital T where there's that bar on the very top, I could close it off right here. That's one way I could do it. But I want to do it in the middle. So I'm just going to randomly pick an area right here. As long as it's past this intersection point, it'll look 3D. So here we go. I'm going to draw a vertical y-axis line here to close it off, and that is where it's going to spear right through our rectangle. The next step is just to treat this like it's its own individual shape, and that means connecting the corners to the vanishing point and so on. Alright, final step, let's close off the back of the rectangle. Let's find out where the back of that is. Alright, I'm going to clean this up and get rid of some of the planes that we're not going to be able to see afterward, because naturally we've just rammed this shape through this one. So that means these back lines that are black of our original cube, we're not going to see them. This new form is in front of it, obscuring it. Something you always have to be mindful of when you create an image with irregular block shapes in perspective is, have in your mind, what's going to disappear when I put something over the top of it? Okay, this is what it's starting to look like once I turn off all the junk lines. This is what it looks like with all the junk lines on. So once again, it really helps to erase as you go. Once you find what you no longer need, get rid of it. Once you find areas of a form that are going to be obscured by another, get rid of the lines that you're not going to need. And it'll kind of start to clean up as you go. It saves you a nightmare. Now as you get more practice, you'll know which lines to keep and which not to keep. Naturally, you don't want to erase any of these blue ones yet until we're finished. So how do we know where to close off the back of it? Do we just kind of make a decision like we did last time? No. Actually, we need to use our last image, our last rectangle right over here, wherever the back is at, in order to help us know where the back is at on this side. And here's how you do it. You get your ruler, you line it up to the very back, and on the computer I'm just going to draw a blue line right through this. And there we go. It's starting to take shape. So I'm going to clean it up and come back. Pretty slick, huh? You can do that with several different forms. So what I want to do is change this from a rectangle that is just a rectangle into like a plus sign. And I want it flat on the surface. I don't want a whole nother form jutting out of it, just like, say, this middle rectangle. But I want to make it into kind of a plus-shaped form. And so here's how I would do that. What I would do is the new rectangle that I've just made, I need to draw through it as if it's a ghost. And so I need to define my new corners. So I've connected the tops to the vanishing points. I now need to connect these intersections right here to the vanishing points as well. I'm going to do that for the right side and the left side. Now I don't need to do that down here because we're not going to see any other planes. And now the reason why I'm doing these lines here, even though we're not going to see them, is so that I can figure out where I need to draw the back of it. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect a vertical line to find out where the back is at this new intersection here, because once again, the front is straight up and down. We need to draw its partner here in the back. And right here, now I know that this is where the back of my rectangle is going to be. So I'm just going to finish that off right there. And I don't even need to do anything on this side because I'm not going to see any of the planes. Let me clean this up and come right back. And there we go. We are back. I had a whole bunch of junk lines that I needed to get rid of. These are a few of them. I also got rid of the portion of this horizontal line that goes left to right because I wanted kind of a flat face on this. You're probably going to ask, why didn't I just draw this plus shape to begin with? Well, at the time of drawing this, I didn't know that it was going to be a plus shape. That was just kind of a spontaneous thing. So that's how you change your images in the middle. If you're making kind of an abstract form like this, then things happen on the paper that weren't really planned, and that's okay. That makes the piece interesting, gives it more life. So I'm going to do one final little piece. This middle part looks kind of boring. What I want to do is I want to cut a big chunk out. We need to define the new face of our shape. So this is going to cease being a rectangle. It's going to become this kind of a U-shape image. And that is the piece that I'm going to cut out. Now, you need to make a decision. Am I going to draw the rest of this rectangle that's spearing through it? Well, if I did, it would make the demo go a lot longer, because there's going to be a lot more stuff I need to do that might confuse you guys, and I don't want to. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ignore the rectangle spearing through this piece. So now I need to connect what I need to the vanishing point in order to make it look real and believable. So that means we will need to connect this corner right here. We'll need to connect this corner as well, and finally this one. We do not need to connect this bottom corner because it's going to be obscured by the rest of this shape. So let's begin. Here are my new corners connected to their vanishing points. So our next step is to do the same to the back plane as we did to the front. And that's where having your lines visible helps you. So I need to do the same thing to the back as the front. This line here is straight up and down. Naturally, we will have then a straight up and down line here. And I'm going to stop right there. Okay, I'm going to go in and finish the drawing. And there we go. We've got an interesting piece right here. So, hope you found this helpful. That's a way to make irregular shapes by adding forms and cutting forms out. There's going to be another demo later that gets a little bit more complex in that. So, I look forward to seeing you in class, and take care. Bye.